All right, Proclamation 104, additional assistance. The first question is name the president would be most likely to suspend in a time of war and explain why. So think of 3 situations that you might lose your rights if America was at war. Okay. Next part is watch a video. It's like a 50-second video. Just explains what this idea of habeas corpus is, which is what we are going to work today. 53-second video, so watch that. But basically, habeas corpus is the right, if arrested, to be charged with a crime, and eventually to get a trial for the crime you are accused of. Basically, they cannot arrest you and hold you in prison for an indefinite period of time. They can't arrest you and not charge you. They can't arrest you, charge you with something, and then not give you a trial. The idea is if they are going to arrest you, they have to, 1, charge you with something, and then eventually put you on trial. Okay, so they just can't hold people for indefinite periods of time. All right, so real quick, the PowerPoint here, it's only a couple of slides. So Abraham Lincoln, president, as we know, during the Civil War. Southern states seceded from the Union in order to protect the institution of slavery and joined together to form a new country. They left the United States and they formed a new country called the Confederate States of America. In short, the Confederacy. So Lincoln first suspended habeas corpus rights in 1861 when citizens who were against the war attacked Union troops in Baltimore. Without habeas corpus, these people could be held without being tried or charged. Okay, Lincoln's thinking there is he doesn't want these people to get out of jail and then attack Union troops again. These are people who live in northern states but are attacking Union troops. The United States Supreme Court finds Lincoln's actions unconstitutional, but Congress supported him. Many people were arrested for deserting the Union Army, meaning that they are in the Army and then leave, or spying for or supporting the Confederacy, and the judicial system had difficulty charging and trying them, all of them quickly because there were so many. So Lincoln writes this document again in 1863, basically saying, we are suspending habeas corpus again. So if you're spying for the enemy or you leave the Army without permission, you're going to get arrested and we will eventually get to trying you, but that's not a priority. Okay, vocabulary words you'll see: writ equals law, habeas corpus is the right of people accused of a crime not to be imprisoned indefinitely without being charged or tried. Insurrection is rebellion. Abettor is someone who helps a criminal. Muster is to assemble people for military service. Article equals law. Therefrom is from there. And draft is mandatory military service. All right, so let's read Lincoln's Proclamation here. This is Proclamation 104, written in 1863, intended to suspend habeas corpus rights again. So, whereas the Constitution of the United States has ordained that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when, in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. And, whereas a rebellion was existing on the 3rd day of March, 1863, which rebellion is still existing, and whereas by a statute which was approved on that day, it was enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States and Congress, assembled that during the present insurrection, the President of the United States, whenever, in his judgment, the public safety may require, is authorized to suspend the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus in any case throughout the United States or any part thereof. And, whereas, in the judgment of the President, the public safety does require the privilege of the said writ shall now be suspended throughout the United States in the cases where, by the authority of the President of the United States, military, naval, and civil officers of the United States, or any of them, hold persons under their command or in their custody, either as prisoners of war, spies, or aiders or abettors of the enemy, or officers, soldiers, or seamen enrolled or drafted, or mustered, or enlisted in, or belonging to land or naval forces of the United States, or as deserters therefrom, or otherwise amenable to military law or the rules and articles of war or the rules or regulations prescribed for the military or naval services by the authority of the President of the United States, or for resisting a draft, or for any other offense against the military or naval service. All right, so questions. Question 3, according to Lincoln, why do the current circumstances allow him to suspend habeas corpus? And he says, if the United States is fighting a rebellion, meaning the Confederacy, in this case, it seceded from the Union and is fighting a civil war, so that's a rebellion. An invasion, the threat of southern states invading the northern states. This happens a couple of times briefly during the war. And in the case of public safety, and basically his argument there is, we're in the midst of a war on American turf. So that, what Lincoln argues, is what gives him rights to arrest people and not charge them and not give them a fair and speedy trial, which is in the Bill of Rights is, part of the Constitution. All right. So whose right of habeas corpus is being suspended? In this document, Lincoln says prisoners of war from the Confederacy, spies, aiders and abettors of the enemy, so those are people helping out the Confederacy who live in these northern states, and soldiers who desert the United States military. All right, question 5 is describe a situation in which the right of habeas corpus would be important to ensure fairness. So think, why is it important? This doesn't have to be during the Civil War. It doesn't even have to be during war. Why is it important that somebody arrested gets charged with a crime and eventually gets a fair and speedy trial? Okay? And then the final question is your opinion. Do you agree with Lincoln's decision to suspend habeas corpus rights during the Civil War? Why or why not? No right or wrong answers with 5 or 6. We want you to come up with those on your own, though. Hope this helped. We will talk to you tomorrow.